We are delighted to have with us our keynote speaker for the evening, Ms. Meena Ganesh, co-founder and chairperson, Portea Medical. Meena is a business leader and an entrepreneur with nearly 3 decades of experience in industries, including healthcare, consulting, technology, outsourcing, education, and e-commerce. She is also a co-promoter of nearly a dozen new age technology-enabled startups. Earlier, Meena set up the Tesco Hindustan Service Center and served as its CEO. Meena is a PGDM holder from IIM Calcutta and has a graduate degree in physics from the Madras University. During March 2020, she co-founded a social initiative to feed migrant and daily wage workers and served 65 lakh meals over a 3-month period. In 2021, during the second wave of the pandemic, she worked on providing free oxygen support to help COVID patients. Her nonprofit, Bahar Foundation, focuses on creating micro-entrepreneurs in healthcare and agriculture sectors. Meena has recently been featured in the list of top 20 outstanding female business leaders by Forbes Asia 2021. She has been also part of the Fortune India's 50 most powerful women in business for 7 consecutive years. She won the Economic Times Startup Award in the Women Ahead category in 2016 and was chosen as the Health Entrepreneur of the Year 2016 at the India Health Summit and Awards. Recently, she was also awarded the Kempegoda Award by BBMP for contribution to the city of Bengaluru. Please join me in welcoming Ms. Meena Ganesh.
So, good evening, all of you, and thank you, Tanvi, for the kind introduction. Many thanks to Sudha for inviting me for this to speak with all of you. It's my privilege, and it was whatever I heard so far has been so inspiring that I'm really feeling very glad that I've been associated with FFE for many years now. I'd also like to pass on a word of thanks to Ram, who worked with me at Tesco, and very happy to see Ram making a huge impact in the social space, moving from a corporate where he's one of the very skilled members of my team, from there to bringing those skills to make a difference in this space. I'm really delighted that that he's doing that, and all hats off to Sudha for being able to attract people like this and make them contribute their time and their capability. So it's coming to some thoughts that I had in mind as all of you are in the journey of, many of you, I mean, I'm of course addressing the students and those who are just graduating. Perhaps some of what I say is also relevant to those who are in early stages of their career. Just wanted to share some thoughts on what I think are some of the key principles that I have been working through my life with, which perhaps may make sense to you as well as you go through your journeys. First and foremost, whether as a student or as an employee in any corporate, one thing that I believe is super important for all of us to remember is that what is asked of us is only, and it's an indication. It's just a guide to say that this is your job description, this is your curriculum, these are the textbooks, this is what you have to learn. It's only a guide. It's not a box. It's not restrictive. It's not saying that you can't go beyond this. It just says this is the bare minimum you have to do. But really, what I have always believed in, and perhaps you may want to consider, is that what is it that I can do? What can I do to make a difference? If you're in a working environment, what can I do to make a difference to the company, to the organization that I'm working with? This is my job. This is what is asked of me. But what do they really need? Can I do more? Can I make a difference? How can I do something which is more than what is expected of me? And the same thing I would say even in the while you're going through your academic field, there is something which is, of course, expected of you. You need to learn. You need to pass your exams. That is not the purpose of education. The purpose of education is to, of course, provide you with some skills, but most importantly, create a great deal of curiosity in you, create the confidence that you can keep learning over and beyond what has been asked of you, It is also an opportunity to create a very large network of other like-minded people who you can traverse the journey of your life with. Mr. Goyal also mentioned this when he spoke about networking. Networking, I believe, starts right at the time you enter your higher education. I'm sure it'll be great if you could have done it in school, but most of us, while we're going through our schooling, do not have that kind of a understanding for the need of networking. We do make very good friends, but the first time when you can really sensibly start to build a network is perhaps when you're getting into a higher education, because all of you who have gone into premier institutions, the group of people that are that cohort that you're working with are perhaps equally capable as you are, highly motivated as you are, and perhaps will have very interesting journeys in their lives too. And creating that network during this period is very important. So the duration of your academics is about learning to learn, learning to become a very good friend to somebody. So a network is not one way. Network is not what can I get from you. Network is what I can give you, so that tomorrow when you need something, you come back to me, and that strengthens it, and I can continue to build on that. In fact, fundamentally, if you ask me, that's one of the core philosophies that I have abided by, is that what can I give to somebody rather than what can I get from them. The moment you get into a space of what can I get from somebody, that the whole relationship becomes very transactional and it comes out very easily. So if you can go through life saying, whether I'm at a college or I'm at work, what can I give? What can I give to the institution? What can I get? Of course, as a student, you need to get much more by way of learning. But what can I give back to the institution, whether it's my academic institution or the place of work? What can I give to my colleagues, whether it is in my academics or in my place of work? How can I make other people successful? Because in everybody's success is growth for each one of us. Now, that's a very difficult and not perhaps in some ways counterintuitive also. For those that have worked or have studied in an extremely competitive environment, to get to the institutions that all of you are going to, you not only do you have to succeed, a lot of others have to fail. Without that, you couldn't have gotten to the place. You can't become a topper unless the others are not toppers and others don't do as well. So we have been brought up to a large extent with that, but absolutely the wrong mindset to go into a workspace. I very strongly believe that, especially as you make the transition from academics into a workspace, taking people along is the second super most important thing that you can learn. The first one was go beyond your brief. The second is, how do you take other people along? For anybody to be a successful corporate or successful in corporate, successful in a startup, successful in any field, it's impossible to do it alone. You need the help and you need the blessings and support of people around you, which can only happen if you're there to support them as well. If you're there if your purpose or if your objective or the way you work is to trample on everybody's feet, and as you climb towards the top, there won't be too many people supporting you when you reach there, and they're all trying to pull you down like crabs. Whereas if you can work along with others and support everybody, then you can someday perhaps even stand on their shoulders to climb, not by pushing them down, but because they are pulling you up. That is something is a very important learning for me, and that I would absolutely strongly recommend that each of you learn to do that. Third is, how do you communicate? And of course, learning the right language is important, but learning to, and even if your English is average, but if you can combine a great deal of passion, clarity of thought, along with your language skills, then the communication becomes much more effective. And communication is absolutely brilliantly important today in any field, whether you're an engineer or a doctor or a lawyer, or you're working in the back end, you're working in the front end, wherever you are, being able to communicate is what distinguishes you from perhaps a lot of other people. The people who are noticed in an organization are those who have the courage, who have the ability, the clarity of thought to put up their hands and say that this is what I am doing, this is what I wish to do, this is how we can make a difference, these are the problems I see in the organization, how can I help you? That's so communication is the third thing. Fourth very important thing, which again, throughout your life, you may want to think about is, it is the whole world is transforming very, very fast. The skills that we learn today, the skills that I learned 20 years back, 30 years back are absolutely useless today. But along the way, it was important that you keep relearning and keep retooling yourself. And this whole growth mindset is something which is very important. Many of us are afraid to learn something new because in doing so, we will show our lack of capability or skill in that new area. But really, this is not about showing to somebody else what you know. It is about improving yourself. How can I become a better programmer, a better doctor, a better manager, or just a better human being every day after day after day? So that growth mindset of not worrying about how you compare with others, but how you're getting better day after day is a life skill. I mean, it's nothing to do with career, nothing to do with academics. It is a super important life skill, irrespective of what we do in our life. And maybe as a mother tomorrow, or as a father tomorrow, or just as a part of the citizenry, each of us has to keep learning to get better and better at whatever we are, and newer skills that we want to develop, so that we can contribute much more to whatever we are, to our work, to our society, to our family. So that's another thing, that never ever stop learning. The day we stop learning, that's the end of our development. And literally, I mean, I personally feel the day I stop learning, I am dead. There's nothing more for me to look forward to. So the excitement in life comes out of learning, and learning every day, irrespective of what field. Some field, keep learning, keep learning, keep learning. The last, but not the least point that I like to make is that each of us is not just we have to create our own personal brand. What is it that we stand for? What is, when somebody looks at any of us, let's say somebody looks at Ram, what do they see? What is it that he stands for? And what he stands for is not just his skills, that is something, his capabilities, his ability to communicate, the ethics that he brings to the table, the way he communicates, the way he treats people around him. All of these together make the brand that Ram might be. And that is something that each of us have to keep on working. And you start building the brand while you're in college, you keep developing it, you learn from your mentors, you learn from your workspace. As you start working, you'll further learn what is really important and keep on developing on this brand year after year after year. These are some of the thoughts that I had as you traverse your journey from during academics and from academics to the corporate world. But before I stop, just one word that I will say, I'm really delighted that some of you are coming back to support the others. Like I said, this world is about each of us helping and lifting the other. So whatever we can do, the smallest of way to help anybody else around us to make a drastic change, a significant change in their own life trajectory. Fantastic. Hats off to each of you who's doing that. Thank you for that.